back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. It's actually really random. I'm not going to talk about makeup, and before I begin, just excuse my hair. I just put on some, what is it, mousse, and I just kind of scrunch it up and let it air dry. So it's a little crazy, but it's way too hot to like put heat in my head. Anyways, I feel like I'm getting sick or something. I don't know, like, ugh, it just sucks. So today I wanted to talk about anxiety because I've dealt with it, and I just wanted to kind of come here and tell you guys how I dealt with it and how I basically just got rid of it. What really inspired this video was lately, I mean, like last night I was basically just bawling my eyes out. You could tell I was wearing these eyelashes and they're just so straight because I got them wet, obviously, and but I mean, I'm not ready to let go of these. I'm still wearing them. But I was just bawling my eyes out because I was feeling really down. I was feeling really down, and I couldn't really explain why. And it just brought me back to all these memories that I used to have. And even talking about it makes me feel so much better. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video. And if you guys are dealing with anxiety or depression or anything like that, maybe this video can help you guys. So I hope that you guys like it. So yeah. So it all started when I was maybe like 18, 19. My ex-boyfriend and I decided to take some edibles. So we took some, and that is when I first experienced major anxiety. And that is a whole nother story on its own. It's pretty crazy. I had to mention that because that is the first time I've ever experienced something so like intense where I felt like it was definitely like life-changing. It was really bad, you guys. It was so bad. Anyways, so fast forward to a couple years later, I started to experience it again. At that time I was living with my ex-boyfriend, and at this point in my life, I was with my ex-boyfriend for about 8 years, going on 9 years. So yeah, we were together a really, really long time. And then one day, one of his family members came to live with us. And it was like one of his like younger cousins. So, you know, I didn't think too much about it. I was like, okay, you know, great. There's gonna be another guy living with us. So that happened, and little by little, like, I started to feel like I was being kind of just pushed away. I was in the back burner because, you know, now his family member's living with us and he's a guy. Now they can talk about their guy things. Obviously he can't talk to me about that. And I started to feel like I was losing my best friend. That's basically how I felt. I guess you could say I was jealous. That's nobody's fault. It just kind of just happened. But that's how I was feeling at the time. So I started to feel like I was just so unsure about our relationship. I was unsure about where I was going. Like, my life depended on him. Like, I was dependent on him for everything. So could you imagine that? I felt like so stuck. I was so stuck. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a car. I didn't have like an income, you know? Like, I was barely starting to make YouTube videos, and it wasn't for the income. It was just for fun. Like, I literally had nothing to do these days, where when I would come home to my parents' house, I had, like, you know, my room there. I was living with him, but I still had like my room at my parents' house. Mm-hmm. I would stay there sometimes and maybe do my makeup really quick, film it, and then go back home. When I really felt like my anxiety got really bad was when I felt like our relationship was just kind of falling apart. So I felt like, yeah, our relationship was just deteriorating, and if it did, I had nothing. Like, I didn't even have my close friends anymore, because when you're in a relationship for that long, like, your boyfriend becomes your best friend. It happens that way. It's not something that you plan on really doing. I mean, you could. There's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't really plan to take my friends, like, to not see them anymore, to basically just put them on the back burner. because I was always with my boyfriend. And when I knew if we broke up, my life was going to be so different. Like, I depended on him only. Like, we had our little routine. Like, it was going to be so much harder for me than it was for him. And that is when my anxiety just went through the roof. I'm a big time worrier. I worry about the smallest things, and that is what caused my anxiety. I was in an environment where I was starting to feel really uncomfortable because I was feeling like a relationship was over, but I was still living there. I was starting to feel like I was just becoming such a burden, like, in my head, I would make shit up in my head all the time. Like, he probably wants to be single and I'm just right here, and he probably feels bad to break up with me. He probably wants to go with his friends. And I was started to get very emotional, and I was just like, I knew in my head that we needed to break up. And I started to get this side effect that I researched because I was starting to feel this certain way where I couldn't explain. I was very anxious all the time, and I started to get this feeling where I couldn't breathe. Like, there was something in my throat, and I would tell my boyfriend at the time, I'm like, there's something in my throat, like, I can't breathe, I can't swallow. And he's like, it's all in your head, just, calm down, you're thinking about it too much. But it was just this constant feeling that would never go away until, I was even scared to research it because I was scared to find, oh, you have throat cancer or something. So I was not trying to research it. I was just like, it's gonna go away, it's gonna go away. And it wasn't going away, so I just worked up the courage to research it. So I researched it. It's called a lump in the throat, which is not literally a lump. You just you feel like your throat was swollen. It was really hard for me to swallow, and when I did swallow, I thought that I could hear it. I mean, I think I could hear it. It's not something that was in my head. I could hear myself swallow. And when you're when you pass liquid onto something really tight, you can hear it bubbling up, trying to trying to squeeze its way in there. That's what I thought I was hearing. That's what I was hearing. Every time I would swallow, it would just bubble up. And so it's there's seriously something wrong with me. It's not just my imagination anymore because I can hear it. It's really common if you have major anxiety, and at the time I was, of course, having major anxiety, and all it said was you have to just massage it out. The only way it would go away was if I got rid of my anxiety. So, and my anxiety at that point was maybe months, 3 months maybe. I was starting to feel so bad. I was like, there's no way I can live like this. It's not that I was contemplating suicide or anything, but I was just this is so bad. How am I going to live with this for the rest of my life? Those are the kind of things that go through your head. This is going to be forever, which it's not. It's not going to be forever. You just have to learn how to change your mindset. Whatever situation that you're in that's causing anxiety, you need to get out of it. There's just no other option. You need to get out of what is causing your anxiety. So one night I couldn't sleep because I couldn't breathe, and I was starting to get a panic attack because I was like, there's something wrong with me. I can't breathe. And now I'm hyperventilating, so now I can't breathe even more. It was such a horrible feeling. I woke up my boyfriend. I told him that I basically was dying. That is when things got really, really bad. I was scared to leave my house because I was scared for it to come back, and I was gonna be maybe in a situation that I didn't want to be in. For example, I didn't want to be in the car for too long because if it came back, I needed to get out. Right away I needed to get out and just breathe some fresh air. That type of thinking makes you have more anxiety because you're always what if this happens? What if the people that I'm with think I'm weird? What if they don't want to stop? Or what if it's just you're thinking so much, and I'm already the type of person that overthinks everything. I didn't want to be in a car. I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to be in any rooms with a lot of people. I started to get, I think, depression. Like, it wasn't just anxiety anymore. It was starting to become like a full-blown depression, and I knew that that was it. That is the turning point. I cannot feel like this anymore. So one day, I told my boyfriend at the time that we needed to break up. So, and we were like constantly fighting because, you know, there's already so much tension between us. At that time, we had just gone in a fight, and sometimes I get really like a brat, and I'm like, take me home. Which, you know, I lived with him, but I meant like my parents' house. I'm like, take me home. So we were on our way taking me home, and when he like dropped me off, I told him like, this is just not gonna work anymore. Like, we need to break up. And at this point, we were already 9 years together. Yeah, we need to break up. He was telling me like, no, like I was being ridiculous. And he's like, oh, I'm about to go to the gym. They're already waiting for me, but I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna talk to you. And I told him no, like, don't come back, don't talk to me. Like, we just, like, it's done. Like, give me some time or whatever, but I don't want to, basically, I don't want to see you later, because if I do, I'm probably going to get back with him and everything. Nothing's really going to change. I was in my room, and I was like, okay, like, now what do I do? Like, my anxiety is not over yet, but I feel like, okay, I got myself out of that situation. But I still didn't feel like it was completely out yet. You know, we had just broken up. Like, for all I knew, I was like, maybe I'm going to get back with him tomorrow or whatever. Because I wasn't ready to let go. I really wasn't. But I knew I had to. It was like, it's one of those decisions where you know you have to do something, but you really don't want to. But I knew, like, this is what's really going to change my life. So I got into my mom's car. I went back home to where we lived, my boyfriend and I got all of my stuff, all of my clothes. I got basically everything I owned that was in that house. I put I had like 4 big black plastic bags, and I put everything in there. I grabbed everything and I put it in the car, and I went back home. And at that time, I hadn't told my parents I was moving back in, so I was just kind of like sneaking everything in my room. And I was just laying there, and he never called me that night. I really expected him to be like, are you serious? Like, you just grabbed all your stuff? Like, is this really for sure now? I still had anxiety for a couple days when I was at home, because I was in a new, like, environment. I stopped realizing it. I stopped thinking about it, and, you know, a couple weeks later, I saw him again, and I went to go pick up some more clothes. Like, I knew he had some of my really cute clothes that I couldn't find after I unpacked everything, and he asked me, he's like, how's your anxiety? And that's when I, like, realized, I'm like, it's actually gone. Like, my anxiety, it's gone. Like, I could do things again. The way I got rid of my anxiety was getting out of the situation that was making me feel uncomfortable, things that I was not sure about. It made me feel unsure about myself, and when I got out of that situation, I had to rethink everything. I had to learn about myself. I had to rediscover myself, and I think it made me grow. I got more motivated to want to do something with my life and with myself. So motivation is also another thing that cures anxiety. You have to keep looking forward, and yeah, like, just get yourself out of whatever's making you feel uncomfortable. And if you physically can't get out of it, change your mindset around it. I hope that this video maybe helps some of you that are dealing with anxiety and don't know what to do, and maybe have the same problems that I had. But I just wanted to quickly talk about it. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but I think it's gonna be pretty long. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really like sitting here and talking to you guys about just my life and what's going on and things I've learned, and I can talk to you guys about. Maybe it will help you guys with something. So I really like that. If you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, please leave it in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you guys in my next video.